Nirvana speaks the oracle, and I am saved. Thank you, listener, for memory.
Earlier I said that, that the current science tends to look at consciousness as an emergent epiphenomenon of this physical field, a brain neuron field. For me, I'm 180 degrees out of phase with that. An idealist would say, no, it's the other way around. That objects, what we take as objectively real objects and events, irrespective of attention consciousness, the socks are in the drawer upstairs, whether I go up and open the drawer or not. That in fact, all objective reality as we understand it and experience it and take it for granted and are propagandized and conditioned and reinforced to keep it that way, to keep that story that way, and our cognitions that way about it, that all objective reality and every individual object in your frame of reference right now is really the other way around. They are emergent epiphenomenon of a consciousness field. Consciousness is not an epiphenomenon, emergent epiphenomenon of a physical field. Physicality is an emergent epiphenomenon of a consciousness field. It's a whole other game that way. The hard problem in consciousness studies right now is how do you explain all the quality of the phenomenological lived experiences of consciousness aware of itself and its contents. How, in God's name? And it's poets can't do justice. I can't. It's higher dimensional. It's non-dimensional. It's what Descartes called unextended substance. But there's plenty of fish in the, like what Yeats said, the macro-crowded ocean, the macro-crowded sea. That's very crowded, unextended substance. It's got the plethora of all things in it and all possibilities of all things. Anyway, so how does one do whatever one does? Totally lost a train of thought. Feels kind of good. It also is indicative of the fact that I'm sort of feeling a little more tired now and sort of sense that, knowing myself. So I don't think I need to keep talking this way much longer. In other words, I'm almost letting the sail down, or there might be some wind to still keep it bellied open. By the way, that's not so much, I don't like that one so much. It feels that way sometimes. The kind of the inertial, the kinetic push, the energic push of the supposed other against myself, where it's a larger self against my local self, or it's part of the universal absolute spirit against another part of itself. However else we want to reframe it in a more inclusive terms that I prefer to do, ultimate unified field theory way of talking about it. But that right now it feels not so much like the wind's dying down, is that I let it be known to the wind source that I was getting tired. And so what happened? The wind began to die down, because it's a cooperative venture. At least that's the story I'm making up about it. Okay, but it's also another image that I've used often, metaphor. Like the windsock, the thing that is not a sail that can belly open because it is opaque. The windsock is transparent. The hole goes right through. And so when the wind picks up, like at the airport or whatever, they can tell by the activity of the windsock how much is being held horizontal to the ground, how rigid it is as the wind blows through it. Clear through it, not up against it, and makes it push against it like a sailboat. Now that's interesting, because it could be construed that whether you're talking about the zero-point energy vacuum, or differentiatedness out of the undifferentiated ground of being, or making fermions and leptons out of boson light fields, or higher frequency octave stuff, or you name it. All the ways to talk about a blackbird, talk about a universe. That it could be, a case could be made that every material particle wavicle in you, down to the quark, down to the electron and quark, is a little tiny windsock. And it only has its being by reason of being blown through constantly by the universal. As long as thy will be done, I'm kept aloft. I'm kept horizontal to the ground. Good. And I'm glad for that. And when that time comes for that to stop, I will not have a physical body to incarnate in, because it will not be animated anymore. And this goes back, to the Old Testament, to all the Torah, the Quran, everyone I'm sure has something like the Talmud, has something like that about it. The breath of God, the breathing breath into the clay and all that. I think the time will come. I think we have to learn more, be wizened, be more heartful, more compassionate, more wise, more of service to our Creator and to our fellow beings, not just service to self, but service to other, ultimate levels of that, to be given the full omnipotence, the full secret, the full reality, creation, potentiality, to move in the creational fields as creators and have much more direct efficacy with regard. At the touch of our intention, we can create plates of food, we can multiply loaves, we can fill the basket with fishes, we can heal the leper's flesh, we can get Lazarus to climb back up. I believe all these things absolutely. And you know what? I believe in fairies and elves and brownies and stuff too, as well as angels. Because somewhere in the fecundity of this universe and all the possibilities that the mind of God, that the imagination of our Creator has in there, that could be actualized or differentiated or wave function collapsed into sort of enduring along world lines, enduring stretches of having its day as individuatednesses, concretizations, that all is possible. So in that sense, I am real cockeyed in that regard. I'm absolutely erring on the side of over-inclusivity, and in a sense I believe everything. On a good day, in some parallel universe or possible world, what do you call it? Multiple world interpretation of quantum mechanics, Everett and DeWitt and others, that it's all possible. And somewhere probably already is possible. And outside of space and time, it's all happening at once anyway. Seth and others said that as well. So I feel that I said inside myself in some preconscious, unconscious way, I think, my higher self said, I'm a fan of higher self stuff, but I think it's just a way station, and it could be jettisoned later on as we get closer to source, and are the case of source operating in human form anyway. Higher self is just on the way to refer to the God within, or our interpenetration with the universal, our kind of our piece of that action. So I think I let it be known to my higher self, to the universal, to spirit guides, to whoever the hell knows who you want to place in that equation. It all fits depending on the frame of reference. Ultimate postmodernist to the point of being an ontological relativist, to the point that I will absolutely co-equally entertain and hold and say yes to any candidate that could be reacted to by human consciousness, by human heart. And that really sounds too far-fetched for most people I know, but I'm just reporting the way it feels inside, or the way I'm tending. So the trick here is to enter a state, something like quantum coherence, and then want to channel, so to speak, from the locus of quantum coherence. How do you do it? Because once you open your mouth as a channel, you are collapsing the wave function to get differentiated languaging, to get local thought forms teased out of it. And so then something's wrong with this picture. Either it's not a quantum coherent state, because wave function collapsing can happen, or it is a quantum state and you can have your cake and eat it too. You can roam over and partake of and be informed by and open to and interpenetrated with all the fecundity and infinitude of the content of the uncollapsed, the ontological domain that lies within that which is represented by the wave function before it's the universal wave function before it's collapsed.
The flood will come, but you must not forget the oracle. You can say